expect to have a discussion with the owner and everyone else at the football club about sort of what we've embarked on here and where we're at and what we need to do, for sure. If people want to make an assessment of me after 3.5 weeks, which we've had 6 or 7 games, then there's nothing I can do about that. But I'll say it a million times, I did have an option. I could have been sitting on the couch watching the game today and not be in the middle of it. I'd rather be here, much rather be. I love a fight. So it's a fight, so it's a struggle, so what, that's okay.
Right, Tim Sherwood, good morning to you. Right, we know that Marinakis is ruthless. Is he ruthless enough to make a change of manager already?
I'm not sure. I like to think he's not. I like to think that he knows the game a lot better, and he appreciates the fact that there's been 7 games. What is it now, Tom? 26 days from manager to be in charge. So 7 days, 7 warm downs after the game. That's taken away 14 days off the training pitch. He's had about 10 days on the training pitch with this group of players on a contrasting styles from Nuno to what Ange wants to play. It's a very short period of time to try and change the whole philosophy of how he wants to see the game and how he wants the game to be played. So it's going to be a slow burner. I appreciate the fans didn't want him. The reason they didn't want Ange Postecoglou because they wanted Nuno still, but the decision was made to get rid of Nuno, and Ange is available. He's just won a trophy at Tottenham Hotspur where no other manager has done for many, many years. I just think you need to give him time. I just think it's 26 or 27 days. It's ridiculous to remove a manager from his post in that short space of time.
Yeah, sometimes a manager gets a year and a half and says they haven't enough time. I mean, less than a month is clearly.
Even to suggest it is really, really harsh.
But it's 4 months exactly since he left Tottenham, Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah.
If something does happen again so quickly, what does that do to his reputation?
I don't think it does a lot to his reputation. I think everyone in the game would understand that if he was to be removed before the month's out, a month in a job is not enough. It's not enough time. But the owner would only make a decision based on what he thinks is in the best interest of the football club. He's done it before. He's made harsh decisions before. They've paid off, and you have to give this one a little bit more time to see if it works. And I think if Ange was to lose his job, look, he's talking about sitting on the sofa watching the game, and I'm sitting on the sofa watching the game, enjoying the football yesterday on the multi-screens, and I'm looking at Ange at the side of the pitch and the other managers, and they suffer. It's not nice standing there. I'm not saying it's not a privileged job. It certainly is. Playing football is nothing like it. Managing football is the next best thing. But the pressure comes with it. And I know it's not life pressure, what people are under around the world at the moment. But it's a certain amount of pressure, which he's happy to take on his shoulders. I admire him for stepping in and wanting to take another job. And he will continue to do that. If he loses his job at Nottingham Forest or not, he will get back on the horse and he will go and manage somewhere else. That I have no doubt.
You mentioned it kind of a bit earlier with Nuno. Is that part of the problem? They sacked a manager who the fans were actually happy with, and that's quite rare.
Yeah, that's the primary importance, really, in my opinion. I mean, it's not often you go in as a manager when there's not a lot broke. But let's have it right. They were in decline. It was an unbelievable season last year. But towards the end of the season, they were dropping a little bit. They massively overachieved. And the fans, Nottingham Forest fans, have every right to dream. And why can't they overachieve or strengthen again to go forward? They sold a few of their players. And now they've changed their manager. For whatever reason, I believe it's because Nuno wasn't happy with the ownership, and maybe Edu, who was the sporting director, who come in, he's got nose got put out of joint, and he decided he wanted to go somewhere else. So he come outspoken towards Marinakis. Marinakis wasn't happy with that, decided to remove him. Who's available? Let's get Ange Postecoglou. It wasn't an outrageous choice to go and get Ange Postecoglou. We're talking about a very successful manager who wins every football club he goes to. So I just pray they give him the opportunity to turn it around, because I think when they do, I think that he will reap the rewards here. I really do. I believe he's a very good manager, and he can take the stick. It's not nice. He doesn't want to. He hears all the response from the Nottingham Forest fans. It's not nice to hear. but he's willing to take it on his very broad shoulders.
Well, talking about the fans, let's get the fan perspective. Let's speak to Nottingham Forest supporter Richard Irwin-Jones. And Richard, I know you were at St James's Park yesterday. There were chants again of sacked in the morning, but I couldn't work out whether that was the home fans having a go at Ange Postecoglou or whether it was coming from the away end. Where were those chants coming from?
It was a bit of both, to be honest. There was a bit of chanting from the away supporters, and near me there was a bit of a fracas as well. So I think we've got quite a divided fan base at the moment, which is my biggest worry.
Well, when you talk about the fracas there, you mean somebody who's saying get off his back, and someone saying
I think near where I was sat there was a bit of that going on.
Right, okay,
which is disappointing to see.
Where do you stand, Rich?
I think we've got to give him time, but my worry is I feel he might be on a bit of a hiding to nothing. An analogy my wife said this morning. It was like a marriage with you had Marinakis and Nuno, and they fell out, and Ange is the new girlfriend, and the kids don't like the first new girlfriend I kind of feel. And it was a little bit like when Cooper went to Leicester. I think a lot of the fan base decided straight away we don't want him, and I'm not sure how he comes back from this. So with this negative feeling in the fan base so early, it's very difficult. I wonder if you might fancy that new job up in Glasgow that's just become available.
There's zero chance him going there, mate. There's absolutely zero chance.
I've got a feeling he won't be doing that.
Even though if he goes there, he might get less stick than he's getting off you a lot at the moment.
He might do. Yeah.
We have, by the way, had a voice note here from Peter. Let's see what he's said.
All Premiership managers, Ange included, David Moyes and whatever, they all know when they sign their contract, regardless of what happens, they get sacked after 7 games, 7 months, 7 years. They walk away with a multi-million-pound deal. These guys are multi-millionaires, so when they talk about losing their job, they really don't care.
No, they do care.
Yeah, I mean, straight away, the fact that he walks away with multi-millions of pounds, which he might do, might not, Tim, that is irrelevant, isn't it?
It's irrelevant because he's got multi-millions of pounds, so he doesn't have to do the job in the first place. He knows he's going into a job there where the manager is loved by the fan base. He's gone in there because he feels it as a challenge, and he wants another opportunity. He wants to work. He's addicted to the game, like many other of these managers are. And he wants an opportunity. It's a fantastic football club to go and work for. Why do you turn down the opportunity to go and manage Nottingham Forest? It's become available, but he's going in there with a little bit of a hide into nothing. But you have to admit, Richard, I'm going to ask you the question because you're the fan here. I explained he's had 7 games. You have recovery days. That's 14 days out of the 26 he's been in charge. He has had very few training days to try and implement his style amongst this group of players.
And my worry is now, people talk about it's the international break, you've got time with the players. You haven't. Half the squad's off around the world playing for their country. So our key players are not going to be there for the next 2 weeks. So again, he's going to have another period where he's not been able to work with the players. We've got a couple of tough games coming up. We've got Chelsea at home, our first game back, and they've just beat Liverpool. So that's not for me. So.
Yeah, the one thing that Ange will have time with his staff now is to analyse the games, what they've had, just try and pick the bones out of it, see the good bits, see the bad bits, see what they can amend before the boys come back. But as soon as they come back, you haven't got a lot of time for them then. But he needs a win for his life. He needs to win a football match to try and get some feel-good factor around the City ground.
He needs a bit of luck. He's not had any luck in these 7 games. I mean, you look on Sunday. Our 2 England internationals made minor mistakes, which led to goals. I mean, I'd argue that Gibbs White was taken out, and that should have been a free kick, so it shouldn't have been a goal. And unfortunate penalty incident with Anderson. But they're two players that have been picked in in this England squad. So they're arguably our 2 best players, and they've made minor errors caught in possession. You take those out, It's 0-0.
There's a message on the screen there from a Forest fan called Jack who says that's the worst team he's seen at Forest in the last 10 years. But that surely can't be true.
I don't think he's been to many games. He hasn't watched us in League One, by the sound of that.
Yeah,
emotions are high, aren't they, at the moment? You know, it's a real disappointment. Nuno leaving, but then Ange is taking the brunt of it at the moment. But he would admit he needs a result. I think the Sunderland game at home was the straw that broke the camel's back, really. I mean, they were that lucky not to score in that game. I mean, Chris was never ever going to miss a chance like that again.
But it's interesting. The last 3 games we've been sort of beaten up by the opposition. We've really strong midfields with Sunderland, Mitchell, and then Newcastle. We have out-battled, which is a worry. But then there aren't that many teams like that play, certainly in the Premier League. We'd hope so. When we get a bit more space, a bit more time on the ball, I feel we've not had Ange ball yet. He's kind of in a midway point. He went to 5 at the back on Sunday, and we looked more solid. But then I hate the term XG, but we virtually had not. I think 0.25 or something like that. Yeah. So he's got to get that balance between not shipping all these goals, but then getting this attacking football. We had half an hour against Betis when we played. I mean, I've been a season ticket holder since 1992. That was some of the best football I've ever seen us play. For that half an hour, it was incredible. Yeah. And if we'd have scored more goals, the whole situation now could have been entirely different.
On that change of system, I mean, there's a stat before that is a bit worrying. It's 1 win in 16 for Postecoglou in terms of Premier League games, dating back to his time at Tottenham, although they were putting all their eggs in the Europa League basket, in fairness. That win was against Southampton, who really struggled last year. He's lost 30 out of his last 49 Premier League games. However, you are right, he did try something different yesterday by changing the formation, which everybody said he wasn't willing to do. Well, he did do it. Does he deserve credit for that? He's not being stubborn.
No, and also he's been unfortunate that we've got Olarena and Murillo out, arguably our 2 best defenders, and so that's half of that defence that helped Matt Sells to win the Golden Glove last season. So any team's going to not be as good defensively when half of their top defenders are injured. But I mean, that's always injuries are always the excuse, aren't they? You've got to build a squad and work around that.
Ultimately, Richard, and I do have to ask you this, and ask a lot of Nottingham Forest fans this: if you could rewind the clock, would you still have Nuno in charge?
I think the moment it ended for Nuno was the Leicester game when Marinakis came on the pitch. I think the trust was broken. And I think from that point on, Nuno engineered his way out of the club in quite a dignified way. But I think that the moment the trust between those 2 was broken. I think it was. I think our people said at the time. I think it was irreparable. Wow. So it was inevitable. I think certainly the things that Nuno was coming out with at the start of the season, the press conferences, it was really not like him. So he clearly was trying to find a way to engineer himself out of the club.
Richard, I hope things improve. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Nottingham Forest have very, very good fans.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll keep singing.